will be the aggressors here versus North, starting on the defense. All Kevlar here for North, not going for any grenades, any utility. Bolts will be the grenade man. 2 flashbangs and a smoke grenade for him, and it looks like Immortals will move fast.
This is a very fast, very explosive round coming out of Immortals. Charging in, Glocks in hand, firing away at the North team. And Steel has already picked off MSL, and down in the bomb site, Valde gonna fall. Cajun, the only one left, back in the corner, trying to stay alive in the chicken coop. He's gonna get one more kill on Kogu, and that might have been enough. It slowed them down. Config coming in with a flank, and Bolts out in the open. Config to shot him down, and North to win the pistol. That was unusually fast for a pistol round, James. We got no time to breathe at all.
Indeed, that is one of the fastest B splits I've seen attempted in a pistol round. North with a great defense, great individual play in the corner. Talk about backs to the wall. AZ charging through the smoke, not going to be deterred by the virtual wall put up by Immortals. North off to a very important pistol round win. On a map such as Cobblestone, where it's hard to get information on the defensive side, you really need to win that pistol round. Otherwise, you can be up the creek. Config and AZ getting aggressive, as they did in the previous match as well.
A slight bit of credit has to go to Cajun staying alive and staying hidden back there. It might not seem like a lot, but every second counts in that kind of a situation. So he's one of the very experienced players, and we expect that from him. But sometimes you'll see people lose their minds and go for fights that they shouldn't. Especially now that we've got Immortals playing. They're a crazy team, and North were earlier today as well, so could be an action-packed game. In fact, I expect it will be. Right now, though, North are taking really no risks at all.
For those of you at home who may not be familiar with this game, the outlines through the walls are for the spectators only. The players don't have that information. In a round like this, Immortals will want to get into close quarters with their pistols. Kogu is just waiting for the CTs to maybe jump and try and get some information. Not going to happen, though. MSL taking a... he's going to be further back, trying to take an angle which is more of an advantage to him. Numbers game being run by Immortals, trying to get second person in there, but that's 2 for MSL so far. Steel finally trades.
A good job on MSL, making sure he's not vulnerable to the flashbangs that otherwise would have come through. One of the really good ways to get some kills in a round like this. Config has taken down Bolts, and looks like Steel gets caught by Valder Henny as well. So only the 1 kill on MSL, who did get 2 in return. It's not such a bad round for North at all. And remember, earlier today in their match, they were struggling to win even rounds like this. So it's kind of a comfort if you're a North fan to see them do reasonably well in these rounds.
Yeah, and that's the round where Immortals, they want to, well, they need to save some money, but they chose to go for the full investment, try to do as much damage as possible, and perhaps more. Only taking down 1 player isn't really enough damage in that round for them. They are forced to save their cash now for the buy round to come. So this is a good opportunity for North to try and farm some money with the UMPs being carried by Valde and AZ, but Config is in trouble. He's got Famas as well, stuck behind the wall. There's support coming for him. Can he survive? Looks like he might do.
Got the pistol out as well. He will get a parting kill at least. So not bad at all for Immortals in a round like this. You really don't expect that much. Got 2 kills already. Don't think they can do very much more. They're lacking the Kevlar vests, which are so important when you're fighting really anything. You just take way more damage if you don't have them. Cajun gets the final kill of the round. That will leave it 3-0 in favor of North, which is really to be expected once they win the pistol. Here's the first real test. Immortals, they've got AK-47s on 4 players. Kogu, sort of looking, and there's going to be the AWP. He will even have enough for a Kevlar, so that's very important. They've pretty much got everything they need. Maybe lacking a couple of Molotovs to clear out the most likely corners, but this is not a bad buy round for Immortals, James.
Yes, and they did say that Hen 1 would remain the primary sniper, but I think on the T side, it might be easier to leave it to Kogu, so the rest of the team can work in coordination with each other. Again, they've had 1 day to practice, and they said they've mostly focused on counter strategy, which would, I expect, be mostly focused on the CT side, which is to come. For now, they're on the T side, so we'll see what they can do.
And you can also tell from the minimap that they're using him as a sort of a lone chess piece all the way on the other side, and the rest of the team, they're here trying to take plateau control, using a smoke there. Usually that would mean Lucas is going to try and move on behind, sort of past the crates out there, and see if he could take a fight with anyone on Stairwell, although Valde's not really giving him many options. In fact, North have fallen further back into the bomb side and are a bit, yeah, just a bit tense right now.
North have to try and identify what Immortals are up to and try and position their players on the right side of the map. Currently, they've got 2 players over towards A, AZ and Config. And there are 4 Ts headed in that direction.
AC could get sandwiched in. I think Config, if he gets smoked out, which is very likely to happen, there's AC getting a kill and Config picking up one. Will go for the refight, and they lose both players. So great start for North, really bad follow-up. Steel has taken down Valder as well.
Indeed, and now MSL is isolated, but again, he's got himself 2 kills. The in-game leader putting massive work in. That's going to allow KGB to come into the rotation, but it won't be enough. Immortals, they get their first round on the board, saving the expensive sniper rifle as well. Not a terrible start. They only survive with 1 player, and North, for the most part, have the money to buy. So this is going to be a tight round for both teams.
Now, this was happening quickly. I don't want to put too much pressure on North, but when you get that kind of double opening, you really want to try and get out, try and escape and stay alive and have the man lead. That's very important. It's something they failed to do earlier when they were playing on Mirage, and this time they had the 5-3. It was quickly turned into a 3-3 now. We'll see what they can do. They've got the double AWP setup, so an enormous amount of firepower here on the North side, and Config has already picked up Kogu. That's a good start for them.
Yeah, that's a very nice angle picked up from Config. One of the less expected ones. And that is a warning shot to Immortals, as we are still early in this match. Bolts and Steel with a focus towards the B bomb site. But there are smokes down for the time being, and the plateau towards B can be a dangerous place. But for now, we'll see Hen1 trying to take the underpass control, also referred to as the mid area. You can see him jumping into an angle, so he's really trying to get some aggressive picks, trying to even the numbers out once again. Did Steel spot MSL jumping into the window? Well, he knows where he is now. Doesn't want to overextend though. Still a minute on the clock for Immortals to play with, and that's a great pick by Bolts.
That's a very important. Bolts, always someone to look for here on the Brazilian side to pick up a couple of opening frags and maybe bring his team back into it. 4 versus 4. There's only 45 seconds. Valder going to be trapped in the corner. They do have a Molotov, and Lucas going to put it in, and Valder has got no chance at all. He goes down. Bolts with a great second kill. Now MSL on the bomb side has to come up big, and he's going to get shot down by Steel. Config and AZ have to run. There's really no choice. Save the rifles to the next round. Make sure your economy stays afloat a little bit. Nobody else can buy on this team. It's just them.
Yeah, 4 versus 2. All they can really expect is to lose their weapons in this situation, and AZ only has a CZ75 pistol, so he'll be looking to fish for something a bit later on, and maybe Steel will gift him a weapon. That CZ is very dangerous at close range. And there we go. He's going to get himself an AK-47, so North can try to do something with these weapons in the rounds to come. Especially with a sniper rifle, you can invest a few flashbangs, which can allow you to get into an aggressive position. Try and get something for your team in the future rounds.
You can really tell that the rest of Immortals, they weren't too keen to go and hunt for any more rifles. They didn't want to give up too much of their own economy, which is a really important part of this game. It may seem like it's all about the rifles and shooting, but there is that sort of sub-level which has to do with just having the money to buy the rifles in the first place. Definitely important. 3-2 the scoreline. Moving into the 6th round. So right now, I would say Immortals doing a fine job. Winning 2 in a row like this is going to put so much pressure on North. See what the Danes do. Are they going to play passively with the rifles, or are they going to be aggressive?
Yeah, so Config, he's going to get boosted up with the sniper rifle, but can he get there in time? It doesn't seem like it. They know that it's going to be up to something funky. Immortals charging, taking the round away from North very quickly as well. That leaves AZ, gets himself a 2K, but that's all he can muster. MSL left alone with a USP, the stock pistol. Not much he can do with that. He may try to hunt for a weapon in a drop zone, and he may just find one as well, because the Ts are spread out, and I'm not sure if Bolts was close enough to hear him, but he's looking in MSL's direction. He would be lucky, MSL, to escape with this weapon, and surely they realize where he is now. There it is, Steel brutally taking the AWP away, and he's going to pick it up as well.
It's a great round, just completely catching them off guard. It's a good idea. I mean, I like the creativity of North and trying to take a bit of a risk. You maybe almost have to when you only have 2 rifles out of 5, but they got run over.
This situation now with the Brazilian side of Immortals is quite interesting, because when you go for 2 sniper rifles on the T side of a map, it can really slow down and sometimes even break your strategy, because you have to hold angles. You have to try and get a pick, which means picking off one of the opponents if they peek too far. So sometimes if you don't have solid strategy around this, then it can make you basically I suppose you could compare it to unforced errors in tennis.
Yes.
However, this is about comfort. Again, Kogu, he is a sniper player. He's played for one day, so they're not afraid to go for a comfort situation, which is what this is. But they've got 1 minute 30 on the clock, and the question is, can they make this work for them?
Just a bit of shuffling about. I'm wondering if they are encountering a technical issue or if they are just messing around at the moment. Yeah, it seems like they've run into a slight tech issue, and that will happen every once in a while. There are a lot of keyboards and headsets and mice in play. Our admins are straight on it, though, so that's good news at least. And luckily, when no one has died yet, no one's taken any... Well, I think Valor took a bit of damage, but no one's died. Generally, you're in a situation where you could sort of restart the round a bit and maybe get back into it.
Indeed.
All right, now, 7th round here. It could get a bit dicey. They're both on the edge. I think North right now, especially, have got to be worried about the amount of money they have left. Oh,
so we have a
fans
team
here.
We have a team in attendance. That is pretty cool. Thank you for coming. They're up front with their jerseys, and there they are.
South
College
Carolina
in South Carolina, yeah.
That's very cool. I've actually been hearing more and more on the internet, as it were, about college Counter-Strike and that growing in America. I think that's amazing. More universities should get in on that.
Absolutely, that would be great to see. Great to see the colors out here in the studio in Atlanta. That's awesome stuff. So hopefully we'll be back into this game shortly. And again, there is, I don't want to say too much in case headsets come off during a technical pause, but I'm very curious to see how the next round will play out, mainly on the Immortals side. Again, North struggling now at the moment, but they have a reasonable buy. But once it gets restarted, we'll see how that's going to play out.
James, what's your personal opinion on this? Because I think there are some Counter-Strike aficionados who will say Immortals play sort of almost a bit of a raw kind of Counter-Strike. Like, it's not very refined. They have a lot of firepower, and they really do what we saw in the earlier round. They sort of run over their enemies sometimes because they're so explosive and aggressive. But there's sort of less waiting around. Sometimes you see some mistakes. So are you in favor of that kind? I mean, it's very entertaining to watch, but sometimes you wonder if they're lacking a deeper level there.
I think there are two perspectives, because for me, I like teams who are not afraid to try something, which might be a bit risky, right? But obviously, if you take too much risk, then that can be a problem. If you try something risky and it goes well, it can look amazing. If you try something risky and it goes wrong, it can look awful and can put you up for criticism. But if you're not afraid to do that regardless, then that's exciting to watch. But I'm liking the decision-making we're seeing from them. They know what was saved in the previous round, and they choose to break that. You could play a slow round there. You know your opponent's going to be aggressive. They're going to try and get into a position early. So if you just charge in, like the cavalry, then that can make quite a difference. We're going to go to a short break while this error is sorted out. And once we're back, we will be back into the match. We'll see you back here soon.
Federal fees, state fees.
You know, there's actually...
administrative fees. What is an MTS surcharge?
You know, you kill one fee, two more grow.
How?
Maybe it's time for a switch.
Is there a fee for that?
No.
Switch to Boost Mobile where you're...
Confic's been having an alright game, and he's one of the star players, so see how it all unfolds. Right now, it's looking like Immortals are not all that handicapped from having Kogu. And you see here, Confic with almost 100 ADR. For anyone new to the game, that's high. Like, once you get up towards 100 or above, you're doing a good job.
Yeah, it's still very early and he's got 8 kills already, so that is good. He is one of the players for North who definitely needs to lead the charge. As you saw in the paintball, happy to lead the charge in any capacity he can. So he's going to be a key player for North going forward. And I think this T side will be very interesting for the Brazilians because I think the CT side will be key for them, especially their approach to the plateau. So the more rounds they can get in this half, the better.
Yes, indeed. And that's something that we've seen a lot in the past, isn't it? Like, once you get a good T-side rolling here on Cobblestone, this particular map, you could really go a long ways. The CTs end up struggling. They don't have all the rifles they need, especially that big AWP sniper rifle. So we'll see how North end up if they are going to run out of money. That's adorable, isn't it? A fidget spinner as well. Are you jealous, James?
I am... I'm jealous of his necklace, actually. That's pretty gangster. I like that. That's pretty damn cool.
I love it. Are you a fan of the fidget spinner, or is there another toy that you would prefer, say a Rubik's Cube?
The Rubik's Cubes are good, yeah. Maybe we'll see one of those later. There was a tactical timeout taken here by North, so they chose to use a bit more time to figure out what they want to do. Both teams are on the bye. We are about to get back into the game as well. So just before this pause came in, we were focusing on the 2 sniper rifles on the Immortal side. It's not so often you see it on the T side, but here we are. So let's see what they can do with them.
Yeah, it can get really tricky when you have to run into a bomb site close range with a sniper rifle, though. Henny's one of those players that can really have a lot of impact with it. But Lucas moving up close. Config is right on the edge with the M4A4. And he's already spraying a bit, doing damage, and Config gonna win the first fight. Steel with a great follow-up. That's well worth it for the Immortals side. They're gonna be excited about that particular trade.
4 players remaining and still 2 snipers in tow. So you wonder if Immortals lose one more player, do they pick up an AK instead of one of those snipers? Time will tell. AZ and MSL defending the A-bomb site at the moment. Valde and Cajun B towards the B area and the drop zone. It seems Immortals will slow things down, but their focus will remain towards A. Bolts was lurking elsewhere, so it'll be hard for North to figure out what's going on just yet. Forced back, having lost a man early.
Yeah, they're really blind for information. You're absolutely right. That's a big worry when you're playing on the CT side, because you can tell on this A side of the map right now, they're about to be fighting 2 versus 4. MSL and AZ are here, and they're the only ones defending.
This is a strong position because the shadow will expose these players before they get into AZ's angle, as you see the bomb taken down now. So now MSL can just bait and AZ can clean up when necessary. He sees the barrel of the gun, doesn't want to make too much noise, and there it is. Kogu taken down, 2 Brazilians remaining. Bolts and Henny coming up the ramp. Bolts up front, 1 AK, 1 sniper now. Not quite working out for the Immortals at the moment, and there it is. Henny alone. It's about damage now, 17 seconds. He needs to take down as many players as possible, make it as expensive as possible, but it's not really working out for him. And now the numbers game prevails for North, all charging at the same time. 3 players surviving is great as well.
Well, that's a very unusual round from Immortals. One of their strengths, I think, is that usually when they commit, they really go all the way. Like, there's not much hesitation normally on this team. That was an incredibly disjointed push. 2 men coming in long, and as you said, sort of showing the gun barrel, showing the shadow on the ground, and the 2 players that are on the ramp, they're not even anywhere near close enough where they can execute on that push. So that's strange and not something that we normally see out of the Brazilian side, I would say.
Another force buy from Immortals, buying whatever they can with the money they have, which will leave Lucas one on a mere pistol. This time they're going to go for early presence, early map control towards the B bomb site. That is an infamous gap in the wall, and they know, trying to maybe grenade where Valde is hiding at the moment. It's a strong spot. If people jump off with flashbangs, you can face the wall and try and avoid that. Maybe that will come into play later. A lot of action early in this area. Now the grenade sailing from North.
That's not fun at all for Lucas, already down to half health, but the Immortals are on the site. Valde, 1 good headshot coming in. Steel with 1 great return, and the follow-up taking down Valde. That's what they need. Cajun on the site, and he gets 2 in return. That's miraculous. It's just going to be Steel with a triple kill, and plenty of time here. Now, what does he do? He needs to take a deep breath and just realize he's got a minute to try and play this 1 versus 2. He's going to go for the ace clutch here, James.
We are asking a lot of Steel in this situation. Going for a fake plant, trying to draw the CTs out with the noise of the bomb, and he's going to gamble. He thinks that they are playing to support each other and that smoke is essentially a brick wall. Oh, the timing is absolutely perfect. Did he hit config? The game is up now. Can Steel do this? 4 kills so far. He needs 1 more to clutch this with the ace. AZ taking it slow, doesn't know if Steel's trying to draw him out again. Oh, the brazen open plant. That is absurd.
This is so bold from Steel, but you're right, AC has to check so many corners now. The bomb is finally down, the smoke is up, Steel walking in, and AC on the other side of the smoke. They've circumvented each other. Steel is now right behind AC, and he's going to go back out again, go for the check. He's got the quad, and there's the ace clutch. Unbelievable play from Steel, outplaying all of North. This is something you don't see every day, ladies and gentlemen. What a player.
Unbelievable stuff from Steel. A man who says that his team don't really have a leader, don't have a natural captain. How is he not a captain? Look at this performance so far, tying the score for his side, and that's got to be mentally crushing for his opponent.
And it's even more devastating because North actually did the right thing. When as you said, they're playing to protect each other, which is what they should be doing, and he used that against them to sneak into the A bomb side. That's so smart. Very interesting. This is turned, I would say, the entire first half on its head. Now, all of a sudden, Immortals, they're looking like they're in a great position. North have very poor economy, and they've actually forced into this round.
Outstanding awareness from Steel. We ride with Steel at the moment as he looks for an aggressive boost. One player jumping on another to make it up there on the CT side, but none such attempt from North. A North side who are in dire straits at the moment. 4 pistols, only Valde with the rifle in this round. So we may see some aggressive plays with the 2 flashbangs they have left at some point. They'll try to find perfect timing, but it will ultimately be a guess. Immortals slowly clearing out the area towards A. It's always good on the T side to try and force the CTs back as much as possible while you still have time on the clock, so they don't know where to bolster, be it A or B or otherwise. And here's the charge from Immortals.
And he a bit paranoid that someone was hiding in the smoke. That does happen. But Bolts has taken the first kill against MSL, and Config goes down swiftly afterwards. And that's more or less the A defense gone. AC is still lingering around over at long, but I don't see him doing all that much with the C set. And you could tell that Lucas is well aware that someone could still be here, so he's covering that side of it. Cajun and Valde from North are pretty much spread out across the map here, so this is a good round for Immortals. Not really any attempt at a retake and a defuse here. They're going to try and just get exit kills.
Yeah, and maybe try to hold on to what they have. AZ won't stray too far away from the bomb site. With only a pistol, he will want to try and collect a gun, and he's going to have some company. Lucas and Steel headed in his direction. Valde's lost his weapon, worth keeping track of. AZ, here's the sound cues of the players moving around. But will his timing be good enough? Spotting Lucas, but he can't get the kill, so maybe Cajun B will be the only person to save a weapon in this round. And the money's down the toilet for North, far down the toilet, stuck in the U-bend. So they'll try to do as much as they can with that AK.
Can't even buy a helmet armor like this guy, James. They can't even do that.
I know.
Our audience is better equipped than the players are.
That's really, it's almost shameful, Anders.
It is, but not if you're an Immortals fan. You've got to be very excited about this. And if you look at the scoreboard, James, what's happening? Steel and Bolts, look at the combined kills between the two, and then everybody else in this server. They've run away with this game, haven't they? Yeah,
but the score is still tight. So there's much more work for Immortals to do. Momentum appears to be in their side. This should be a good round for them because North don't have anything to fight with. They literally cannot afford much right now, apart from this AK from Cajun B. And at this point, he's on the A site. Does he even invest?
Oh, what? He runs into the smoke. He had his knife pulled a good 3 seconds before that. That is incredible. Knifing him in the smoke, and then Steel comes through, does get down by Cajun B. Right now, Immortals seem like a team that's so well in control of this match.
That's confidence for you. That is a message, Anders.
Yeah, letting the fox into the chicken coop. Bad things happen.
They've still got some space for more barbecue. Valde now will try to Steal a weapon away. Desperate times for North.
Valder, again, in this position, you just want one last kill at the end of the round, pick up a rifle and carry it into the next round. Valder, he tries, gonna give him that. Just does not succeed this time. 10 rounds down, and Immortals have won 6 of them. I would say they're on a path to something amazing here. This could get very tough for the Danish side.
Henny won. He made a lot of money in that round. He made over $5,000 because of the kill bonuses with the knife and the MAC-10. So he made a lot of cash, and that means AWP, sniper rifle, one shot above the torso, and you are gone. 2-round lead for Immortals now as we hit round 11. Not many rounds left in this first half. North struggling with grenades, and again, often in this situation, you want to be aggressive, but you might not get the opportunity the way Immortals are playing.
Oh my God. You're absolutely right, and maybe that's one of the reasons why North decided to be that aggressive, because if they wait until they've used all their grenades, they might not have time to take that fight. So MSL in charge, and Config also taking down Bolts, and what a beautiful round. MSL with a triple kill, especially that double fight here in drop, which is what we call it, just beautiful stuff there. That is not easy to do.
MSL is having a good day. He is fragging. He's the in-game leader, and normally you don't expect the in-game leader to play so well because he's focusing on what the entire team are doing, what the other team might be doing, and trying to make split decisions all the time, so it can affect the performance. But MSL is playing out of his skin today, and he may need to because Immortals are causing a lot of problems. Immortals have lost all their sniper rifles now, but they are still very dangerous with these 5 AKs and full utility.
And we should say that sort of comes off of MSL having a bit of a history, Config taking down Kogu there, of being really heavily criticized here. A lot of people said, remove this guy from the team. He's an anchor, he's weighing them down, he's not going to be good enough to carry it against the big teams. Well, a lot has changed since those days. That was about more than a year ago, I think now, but a lot of people were very critical of MSL early on. Now, hiding and waiting. It's a bit of a mental battle between MSL and Steel here.
Early advantages for North with a pick-off of Kogu. Not having the most amazing game, but now it's Bolts' turn. Bolts and Steel racing to try and get double frags. Big problems for North. There's lots of time here. Just over a minute on the clock. MSL with nice bursts, controlling his fire to take Bolts down. 3-on-3, 55 seconds. Immortals have still got time. That's a great flashbang, but Henny gets the frag.
Config, 19 health. That's one shot from the AK, and he's gone. Hiding behind the rock, and they're all right in front of him. He's going to get taken down by Steel. Another great round here for him. A double kill. Puts him up at 14. Still tied with Bolts, but what's really great here about this particular round win from Immortals is that it completely kills the North economy again. This is something that's always worth keeping a note on, and North, they only won the one round. They didn't get to build up any kind of money. They're in a lot of trouble here, and they know it.
Tactical timeout from North. There are 3 more rounds to play for in this half, so they need to take a decision on what they want to do, where they expect their money to be, and how to approach this round where they might not have much to fight with because they may have to try and save their cash for a future round.
Yes, and there's a sort of philosophical difference almost here between some players. I mean, Immortals is actually one of the teams that, even when they're in a situation like North is in now, they tend to force up a lot more than most of the teams. They haven't really had to so much because they've been winning a lot of the rounds. But North going with a different approach, saying, listen, we're just gonna, you know, maybe lose this round with just pistols and no armor, and then we're gonna try and see what we can do later with rifles.
See what the Immortals approach is like. Is it going to be a fast one again? It seems it will be. Just shock and awe. We've got more numbers in a small space. We've got better weapons. We have armor, and you don't. They're just running over their opponents in this situation, and it's working out well so far. Another round in the bag for Immortals. Can they make it to 10?
It's a nice little round from Kogu, even if they only have no armor and pistols. He's still got 3 kills. Maybe bringing him back in. That's 5 overall for him, as you pointed out earlier. Not the best game for him so far. But still, the scoreline is telling a story all on its own here for Immortals. Very good first half for them so far. Now it's time to see if that save in the previous round is going to work out for North in this round because they've invested everything, James. And again, it's the double sniper setup.
Indeed it is. Important though, they're limited on the flashbangs, only 2 flashbangs, but there's no time to talk about that because again, Immortals are charging 100 miles an hour. There are no brakes on this train and they're moving forward around the site, around the statue. KGB though, he's still alive, he's dangerous. The trades will go in favor of the Brazilians. Can they get the smokes down? They can, but MSL, AZ both ahead of them.
MSL very forward played. It's going to be AC, and there's MSL with a headshot. So yes, the bomb is down, but Kogu's trapped. How does he get out from around the statue here? He's put up a smoke that will put up a bit of an artificial wall, at least for 15 seconds, but now they're going to rush in closer towards him. He knows it as well, and he's going to go down, and Config with the kill on Bolt. Stop on the plateau. Great retake from North. In spite of an absolutely explosive start from Immortals, the Danes will reclaim the bomb site, and they win the 6th round. That's very important.
That is a massive retake from North. I was not expecting success there, but here we are. They are keeping the score close. There is lots of money on Immortals for this last round. They will be fully equipped. The 2 snipers survive for North. So will it be 9-6 or will it be 7-8? It is quite a difference moving into the second half, and if it is going to be 9-6, we can talk about that later. A big round for both teams. Lots of advantages to be had for the Brazilians, especially. Let's see if they can make it. Hen 1 on the AWP config. He's been successful from this angle before, but there's the early flashbang to ward him off from Immortals.
Yeah, well played for them. It's a $200 investment to force him back, and as you were pointing out earlier, denies all the information about what's happening in the middle there. So, gotta love that for Immortals. Now, it looks like he's teaming up with AC config over at Long. Well, Lucas and Kogu are on the other side, so we could have a bit of a showdown that could decide how this round plays out. AZ wants to go back. The smoke is right there, and they don't know it. Again, they can't see the outline through the smoke like we can. AZ, oh, but they will still spray through. Lucas, that's great intuition, and now they've got Config trapped in the corner, and they're going to run him down. Kogu with a great headshot. Now the landslide has begun into this A-bomb side. Only MSL remains.
Bomb rotating towards the A site. There was a lurker towards B, but never mind that. Cajun B's already on the flank. If MSL can try and bide some time for his team, then maybe that flank can come into play. Creeping around the smoke. He's got a flashbang as well, but maybe it's not safe for him to try and draw it out. And MSL again with the multiple frags. He is playing out of his mind at the moment. Now there's a man advantage for North. Immortals, they've lost the bomb as well. 35 seconds. North have so much information at the moment. Lucas, he's looking in the right place, but can't quite see the in-game leader of North. Now he can, and he gives him a haircut for free. 2 on 2.
It's not bad at all for Lucas. This is a must-win round for Immortals. They had everything going their way, but Cajun has rotated in just in time, and Henny goes down to Valder, and North will win the round 7-8. That is very hard to swallow if you're on the Immortals side. With that kind of an opening, you would expect to win that round almost every single time. Well, they're going to have a quick break to think about that, and we're going to have 1-2. We'll be right back with the second half. So don't go anywhere. It's going to be a lit second half.
Every day we choose, we might win or lose. This is the dangerous life.
magic prowess.
Yes, indeed. And you mentioned the key word, the pistol round here is going to be so important. If Immortals can win it, then they've still got a great chance of clearing out this map and moving out of the group, which would be really amazing for them. But if not, we'll see what North can do. MSL charging in. They've got Lucas trapped in the corner. He needs backup badly. He's going to get one headshot. How is he still alive? Finally, he goes down. The Steel is right around the corner. And why would they check it? If Steel was here, they must have been thinking that he would come and help out, but they actually fall all the way back. Oh, man. I think Steel is thinking, I'll sacrifice Lucas even if he doesn't want it, and then I'll get all the kills afterward. And that's not happening.
Yeah, but Steel will hear people running, so he can raise the alarm to his teammates and say, I've heard people running away from A. Problem for Immortals is there's still a lot of time on the clock, but North aren't going to use it. They're moving forward. They're trying to use a numbers game. MSL picking off Hen1 with a stolen USP, but the USPs will fight back. Bolts with 3 kills. Massive headshots coming in on the B bomb site. 1 versus 2, Cajun B. He's got an opportunity to try and get some fights in isolation. There's one player around the rock. It's Kogu. He does not know where Steel is. He's looking for him. Could be Plateau. Could be coming from the A bomb site. He has no idea. Trying to reposition, trying to get some information. Now he knows nobody on Plateau, so Steel must be coming from the same area where Kogu is.
Yeah, that's an important peak for Cajun, but the real problem here is the time that's left. Only 30 seconds. The bomb is right there, and both the Brazilian players are on the other side watching it from 2 different angles, so he's going to be peeking them both at the same time. This is almost impossible if you're Cajun, and takes a bit of a fight there. That's a great angle for him, but he hasn't found the headshot. He's got 10 health and 15 seconds, and they're going to go and fight him. They don't really need to. In fact, they definitely
He's got no bullets!
Oh,
He's got no bullets! No! All he can do is stand there and smile. He is almost as good as a scarecrow in that situation. Brutal. Stolen weapon as well. The USPs have got less in the less in their guns than the Glocks do, so that is a cruel irony there. And Immortals take the pistol.
It's a big round win here for Immortals. That second shot that we saw out of Bolts on the plateau was out of this world. He's not really supposed to get that much done, but very well done indeed. And North, because they did not get the bomb plant down, which does give you an $800 bonus for everybody on the team, they will have bought into this round instead of buying AKs to the next, so there's a bit of an economic trade-off there. Henny going for some counter grenades, and first one doesn't do much, second neither. And Henny's going to be up on the box, and they're waiting right on the other side. That's a great kill for Config, and he's doing more actually, dancing and fighting against Bolts.
Yes, that is a unnecessary risk when you have such advantages. Again, it's Bolts to clean up on the B bomb site, but is it enough? We've got North streaming in, 3 players. They've got a rifle now. Lots of things being lost by Immortals, but Steel will spray through the smoke. He'll see the tracers and punish it. Kogu will go down as well, 2 on 2. Steel on 5 HP. Lucas has to do so much with an MP9. He's playing against armor, which will weaken the bullets of the MP9. So this is a horrible situation for the Brazilians.
There's one upside right now, which is that none of the North players have Kevlar helmets. And that makes a huge difference. This UMP and the MP9, if they hit headshots, they can win this fight. But if not, I agree, the lack of rifles here on Immortals is going to be really bad on them. Config up on the plateau. There's going to be 1 grenade to try and make an opening, a second follow-up flashbang. Bomb is down, so they need to move quick. They have a defuse kit picked up on Lucas. That will cut the defuse time in half to 5 seconds, but Config will take 1 more, making it a triple, and Lucas out on the site. He's already got the headshot on Cage and almost taken him down, but he'll drop to Config for a quad kill on the Danish superstar, making it 8-9, and that's
this is
a
madness.
big giveaway.
That is absolute madness, completely unnecessary. I mean, he could have a teammate flashbang for him while he's trying to get into that position. It's just madness. It just gave advantages away, and they may end up paying for that if North can get some momentum in their favor. Everything taken away from Immortals, forced to buy pistols. Kogu seems to be leaving some cash in the bank for a sniper rifle a bit later on, but just why?
Why indeed, James? I mean, this is one of those giveaways you just don't want to do. Normally when you win the pistol, that's cause for a bit of celebration, but it was short-lived this time on Immortals. It ran out quick, that party.
Yeah, I wanted to say Immortals, when it comes to buy rounds, have done great work around that plateau area with grenades, causing lots of problems for teams, but we saw no signs of that really in that previous round. They've got themselves an early kill, and North don't have much to answer it with at the moment. But they've still got some grenades.
And Lucas did get that kill with a deagle, which is a one-shot headshot at any range. That's really important to know. That's why they buy it, because it's obviously a bit slower than the C-75 in terms of firing rate, and they've got a bit of a stack at the B bomb side. This could work out.
Slowly creeping in. 3 flashbangs for the side, but they're using the numbers, the AKs, not wanting to give any warning with grenades. More will fly in from the CTs as well. But again, the Ts are much better equipped and it's working out. Kogu, last man standing, left on the A site while they stacked the B bomb site. So it seems that one kill might be all she wrote. Config and AZ, though, are tagged, and Kogu has nothing to lose in this situation. So maybe more damage can be done by the Brazilian.
Yeah, that would still be valuable. We're not quite at the end of the game, so any kind of rifle you can force them to rebuy, make them spend a little bit of money in the upcoming round, it's all going to matter towards the end. That was a very measured take, though, for North. They knew they had the plateau control, and they didn't feel any stress trying to take that fight. They just slowly crept onto the bomb site. They knew they had the weapons. They knew Immortals weren't going to have, and this is important, any counter grenades to come out. So they were under no pressure to try and rush onto the bomb site. They could just sort of slide in there and get everything done. Kogu runs away at the end. Looks like he's going to live through the round. And that should make it 9-9, tying up the scoreboard. Getting worrying now for the Immortals team. We still got the fidget spinners in play. All right. The college team as well. Everyone's excited, James. What do you make of this tying up of the scoreline, 9-9?
Immortals still have no cash to buy, so it looks very likely that North will be taking the lead. And you have to wonder what the psyche will be like in Immortals, because it did look like they just threw that round away. But it's in the past now. We have to focus on the future. This should, I can never say will, but it should be a nothing round. I think this round's going to be restarted. Most of the CTs are staying in their spawn, so I think it's going to be restarted. Yeah, seems to be a technical issue there.
It's always good news when we get the tech issues before the round is officially live, which is when someone starts to take damage or dies. So that way you can restart it without much of an issue here. Immortals anyway were going to be on just pistols, it seems. So can't expect too much out of them. Indeed, it's sometimes hard to figure out exactly what are you going to do in a round like this. I mean, there's no sort of surefire way to get much done.
Yeah, I mean, you're just kind of waiting for the next round, but you'll do your best to try and take some money away from your opponent by trying to get 1 kill, maybe 2 if you are lucky. So we can see there is an audio issue being corrected there.
I would say that unlike very many teams, I think almost, I mean, even internationally, there's so many teams now that suffer from playing, I think, much too defensively on the CT side. Not just of Cobblestone, I think that's where it's the most expressed, it's where it causes the most problems. But I think Immortals are actually one of the fun teams. That's why I like watching them so much. That sort of buck that trend a bit. They do tend to be very aggressive, sometimes to their own demise, but I still think this is going to be worth watching. Over at that plateau area, I'd love to see someone like Henny, assuming he can afford the AWP, go and take some of those fights early on. What do you think? Do you think we're going to see that out of Immortals? Are they going to be confident enough to do that?
Well, it might depend on what North do, because in the previous match of Cobblestone, when there were smokes on the plateau that the Ts normally like to dance around, trying to find an opening with, they had great work with grenades. While this technical issue is solved, we're going to go to a short break. When we're back, we will see the conclusion of this map on Cobblestone.
can't expect too much out of them. This is going to be tough. It's one upgraded deal on Lucas. Maybe he's the man to watch this round.
Yes, this is a nothing round, if you will, because they don't have the cash, which is why 4 of them are on a pilgrimage, but they're not going to find what they're looking for. Cajun B taking Steel out of this round, and there goes Hen 1 as well, and the rest will be soon gone if they try to get aggressive at all. It seems Bolts will just be hiding in a corner, looking for some opportunity, but he would have to get really lucky in a situation. Close, but not quite. The score is indeed 10-9 in favor of North, and now it's time for Immortals to buy again, maybe learn from previous mistakes and show us what they can do. But they've got money issues. They've got less than $5,000 on most people. They want sniper rifles. In a perfect world, they want 2. They will be able to afford 1 onto Hen 1. But they are severely lacking in grenades. And again, I've alluded to what they were doing in the previous match, where they had loads of grenades sailing towards the plateau area, high explosive grenades, of which they only have 1 in this round.
And that's very much worth mentioning, just because it's going to be hard to keep North back from that plateau area, which is so critical to the B-bomb side. In fact, we already see Conflict saying, well, if you're not going to throw up Molotovs to stop me, I will go and take control of this part of the map, and we'll see if that's going to be successful. Molotov not landing though on Henny, and he's going to take down Conflict. That's a great opening frag now. The smokes are in to try and see if they can get that early bomb plant. Counter smokes coming out as well from Immortals. Henny picking up 1 more kill on AC and trying to escape. He's going to be run down by MSL with a UMP.
Not before he takes Valde down, though, which gives his team a man advantage. Bomb collected, planted in the smoke while KGB tries to cover. Not doing a bad job at the moment. Big damage, Molotov coming in. And that will limit the movement of the CTs. There goes Bolts, falling to those flames who can spread. MSL again doing big damage for his team. Kogu taking down Lucas 1. He's got 2 to find. They're both in the red. He's got to go for this. He doesn't have a kit, which means he has to move quickly. MSL, that is absolutely disgusting. What a peek, what a punish.
Cannot believe it. It looked like that was going to be the perfect round for Immortals. 2 versus 3, and they knew exactly where MSL was, and he had low health as well. Quad kill here for the Danish captain. This is obscene, isn't it? 11-9, and I don't know, Immortals, I feel like now, not only are they running out of money every round, and this is one of the big problems playing the counter-terrorist side, but they've got to be running low on energy as well.
Immortals in a familiar place in this half so far, which is a round where they've got no guns and they've got no money. Mere pistols, just not powerful enough to really stand a chance versus the might of what North are carrying at the moment. But that also depends on a good anti-eco round from North, called eco because Immortals have an economic buy where they've only spent a few $100s. Next round, they've lost so many rounds in a row, they will have a big buy. But for this round, they must wait for their fate to be decided by North.
You mentioned that double AWP setup, and now everybody's wondering, is that the way for Immortals to get out of this hole that they've dug for themselves? Not this round, but the next one. Kogu goes down in the middle, jumping through AC. It's not pretty, but it does do the job on Lucas. And the rest of Immortals now just scattering to try and maybe look for a couple of kills anyone will do at this point in time. It will be 12 rounds here for North, so a sizable lead is starting to build in favor of the Danish team.
It's not just the sniper rifles that are key for Immortals, it's the grenades as well. The grenades they were lacking in the previous round because they simply did not have the money, but they will. They'll have everything they could want in the next round, so there will be no more excuses for this Brazilian side. Do or die, definitely the phrase for them.
Yes, it is. And I will say this, I think this is true for the other great Brazilian team, which is obviously SK. When their backs are against the wall, they seem to be sort of, coming up big some of those rounds. Like, it seems like it almost motivates them even further. So I think fingers crossed right now, if you're an Immortals fan, you have to hope that this is going to be the round where they come up big, because otherwise they're simply running out of rounds to play around with. I mean, there's a bit of a buffer here, but it's not that big.
Yes, and one big round is not enough here for Immortals. North are lying on cash like their Huel. Immortals need to win 2-3 rounds in a row. If they win one round and then lose another round, that's pretty much game. They won't have any cash, and it will be very hard, if not impossible, to stop North at that point. This is a huge round for Immortals, and you can see them with the tactical timeout. Zach being very vocal to his team. He can only talk to them during a timeout.
Yeah, and this serves two purposes. Obviously, if Zach has discovered any kind of weakness where he says this is a common mistake that you guys seem to be making, you can try and fix that. But the other one is also just calming the team down so that emotions don't run away with them, so that they can sort of keep the focus here. A lot rides on this. The double opposite effect, as you predicted, James, that would come out. They got almost all the grenades, so yeah, surely this is it. This is the time.
Yeah, the only people who are lacking on grenades are the snipers, but that's not the biggest issue in the world. Mostly you want your snipers maybe flashing for a teammate. Other than that, you want them in their scopes. North with a big presence towards the drop area, and it seems they have an execute in mind.
Lucas pushing through on the other side of the map against Config, and is that going to be enough? That's a huge opening kill and very aggressive, and now they're going to be counter-boosting up to where the T's normally are, while the A-bomb side is under attack. But yeah, there's a whole wall of smokes on the A-bomb side, and they're planting behind it, but they're locked in. If they come through with just one kill, Steel coming out. Oh, what a great flick from Cajun B. If Steel had got that kill, I think that might have been the round here, but now it's open season.
Yeah, and Hen 1 is on the flank instead, but they're not getting any of the kills. There's Hen 1, position known, 3-on-3. 2 snipers on this retake. That's hard for Immortals moving forward. Unscoped, but Hen 1 continues to deliver. 1 sniper and bolts. That's what remains for Immortals here. 2-on-2. MSL with another kill. 2 kills for him so far. Bolts versus 2. He's got a defuse kit. He's got the opportunities to 1 versus 1. MSL, he's still dueling. Why? He was on his own. And now it's down to AZ. He goes down as well. But there isn't time for Bolts to defuse the bomb. It's good, but it's not enough. They need to win rounds. They fail. Only Bolt survives. This is a disaster for Immortals.
It absolutely is a heartbreaking moment, getting all the kills, but bomb still goes off. 13-9 is the scoreline here. North marching closer. I think that first kill for Cajun is what does it, because that would have broken that defense so badly if they could have kept the plateau control. And again, it's MSL as well with just some great headshots.
MSL maybe having the best day of Counter-Strike for him. This is really, really great stuff. 23 kills for him. Massive. But it's not over yet. Immortals are on the force buy. 2 Desert Eagles looking for some meat shots. And there are some rifles in tow, as well as the UMP onto Kogu. Some big damage to be done here. Only Henny doesn't have any armor. Everybody else is equipped. This can be dangerous. The grenades are sailing in, and there are the kills. 2K from Bolts once again, looking for the third. He delivers it. Down to the pistol, looking for a fourth. 3 versus 2, though. North are fighting back.
So much firepower on Bolts. Again, he does it. Henny hiding at the edge of the smoke, missing the deagle shot, and goes down to Valde. Not again, Immortals. They had the lead, and now it's a 2-on-2. Valde goes away, that 1HC. Cajun out in the open. It's a headshot! You've got to be kidding. Taking down Lucas as well. That is out of this world. Cajun saving North and surely breaking the spine of Immortals. How can you come back from that, James?
Just when you thought things couldn't get more disgusting, this is dirt, man. This is down in the sewer. Cajun B, you are a nasty piece of work. And there's Config there like, dude, I respect that. You can join my club.
That's a very bad position to be in if you're Cajun. He's got no cover, and as soon as you fire that AWP, it takes a while before you can fire the next shot, the bolt action. So you are really vulnerable there. Switches to the deagle to finish it off.
That's nasty stuff, man. He's in the boatyard. He's topless. He's fighting, man. He's swinging for the fences. That is insane. And it's good for a 5-round lead over Immortals. They're on the bye, but the Brazilians are running out of rounds to lose.
And that should have been a 1 round. It felt like it was. They did almost everything right. Bolts opening up with a triple kill. Can't ask for more than that, can you?
That's a tearjerker. That was some Game of Thrones stuff right there. The hero does not win. 1 minute 40 on the clock for North to play with. Immortals not afraid to get aggressive. Have one of their favoured 2 sniper rifles. See what the players can do over towards the A area. And the CT so far so good. Bomb will be rescued maybe by these T side, but Lucas still trying to fight for it. Running straight into a flashbang. He is completely blind. He He'll use the Molotov to try and slow things down. Wanted to pick up the gun too far away, so he'll just go for the reload. That smoke may allow Valde to try and get a risky grab of the bomb.
It's good that Lucas managed to slow it down. Even if Valde picks up the bomb, this is still all fine. Immortals have the man lead. Like, everyone calm down right now. There's no reason to give this one away. Sneaking right under the scope of Cajun B is Lucas, and he's just going to make it back. This is all good. I want to see this out of Immortals. No more fighting. Let North come. Use the clock against them, and speaking of which, there's only 40 seconds. This is almost no time at all when the bomb is this far back.
AZ so far away as well. If he's going to make a play for a fake, he's got to do it now. Otherwise, it's a late rotation. He might be gambling on Cajun B and Valde getting entries, but they're moving so slowly. 30 seconds left, and it seems he will go for the fake, but he really needs to do it quickly. Maybe North are trying to suggest that they don't have the time to fake here, and you would think they don't. There goes AZ, but you'll get a kill in trade, and now the push has to come in, but it might not work out for them. They've got to pick on to steal, but there's Lucas. 11 seconds left, and Lucas will get the second kill as well. 10 rounds, double figures for Immortals.
That's very well done, and well, that's a trick.
He needs a doctor. Don't know what else to say.
Needed a second fidget spinner is what he needed. So 14 to 10. Finally, Immortals pick up a round. James, after losing, what, 7 in a row?
All the rounds, after losing way too many rounds. And it seems there will be another restart. At the very least, technical pause is in effect. 4 rounds for North. And again, looking at what's in the bank, if North win this round, they should be too far ahead, but never say never.
No, you never know at this stage. A lot of it could come down to the money. You're right. If you could be quite far ahead in this game, but if you eventually just don't have money to buy the rifles, that's going to matter a lot less. So
it's all about the money, Anders. This is America, after all.
Yes, so I've heard and experienced, James. Are you enjoying your time here?
I am enjoying my time here, yeah.
That's good. What's your favorite activity? We're in Atlanta. We're in Georgia. So what's your favorite activity here in the home state?
In Atlanta, it would have to be scuba diving in the aquarium.
Oh, you've went and done that?
I have done that, yeah. Swimming with the whale sharks, the manta rays, good stuff.
Brave man, braver than I am, James.
Yeah, it was fun. It was real fun. I do recommend it.
Maybe one of these days I'll give it a chance myself. Now, I think this is right on the edge here. What I really worry about is how close the rounds that Immortals win are. You know, at this point, if you're Immortals, you'd want to have a couple of rounds where you win with 4 or 5 players alive and it feels really smooth. You don't want all the rounds to be 2v2s at the end.
Yes, and what is worrying for the Immortal side is in the interview earlier on with Steel, he said that in their previous match, which was on the same map, that their defensive side here was not exactly spectacular. And that's where they're not on the CT side anymore, but again, there isn't much momentum going in their favor, so...
But lately, though, North
they
has
are
been...
oh,
yes, indeed. Are they going to be back in it?
Oh. Yeah, they are. Yes.
They've been doing very well lately on the north side. Generally speaking, they've won Montreal. They finished second at DreamHack Masters in Malmö. The PGL Major was a bit of a crazy one, but at least they got out of the group and did a good job there. So I would say this is a team that's sort of on an upward trajectory right now. And ELEAGUE might be the biggest target. I think it is the biggest task for them yet to see if they can overcome this, make it out of the groups and into the playoffs.
It is the mountain to climb, and if I'm not mistaken, they have beaten Immortals the last 6 times they've met,
yes,
which is quite a statistic. So it looks good for them. They're close.
Yeah, very close. And that can actually, we've seen that in the past in Counter-Strike 2, that for some teams can be sort of a psychological barrier almost. If you end up losing too many times to one specific team, it takes a while before you can overcome that. There's been some terrible examples of that actually in the past where one team continuously gets crushed for more than a year by the same opponent. But
does that become Stockholm syndrome? Do you start to love them? You're just on the losing side all the time. And here we can see what Immortals have been up to recently. I mean, they've had some good results. They came second in the most recent major as well, which is a colossal result for the side.
Yes. That's the really big upset, isn't it? I think we have the game reloaded, heading into the 25th round here. And we're nearing the end. I mean, at 25 rounds, there's not that much left. That's why we keep mentioning the economy, because it so often does come down to that. And Immortals are in an interesting place with regards to that.
Yeah,
just still able to buy.
Just taking a tactical timeout now, Immortals. Teams are not allowed to talk during technical timeouts, so we will...
Fishing for sponsors by G Fuel.
Yeah, you got to respect it. I respect the grind. High visibility, black and yellow.
That's very creative.
It is outstanding stuff from them. So we are 12 seconds away from resuming this. Immortals' timeout has come and gone, and now we are good to go. Again, Immortals, despite winning the round, won't have a perfect buy. Kogu is with less than a spectacular gun. The stand-in, only 7 kills so far, so he needs to try and do his best to get back into this game. North, 2 rounds away from victory.
But I'm hearing the audience chanting for North. They're excited, and they are ahead of the moment. So they've got a bit of crowd support here in Atlanta in the studio. That's exciting. And a bit of a default spread from Immortals. Nothing too exciting. This is what we're used to seeing on the CT side. And North, on the other hand, look to be taking control with 3 members over at long. This is going to be a hard fight for Kogu.
Yeah, the Molotov is down for both players, but MSL charging through, looking for the second kill. Lucas with a 3K, how? They lined up for him, they're queuing. But it wasn't food they got. 4 versus 2. I don't know how that happened. They tried to trade the kill, and he just wiped them out completely. He deleted them towards the A site.
That's incredible, because that crossfire that's supposed to be there between Kogu and Lucas, you'd think it'd be irrelevant as soon as Kogu is down, but it just isn't. AZ's going to get dropped as well. Valde will get the parting grenade on Bolts, but I'm not sure it's enough. Henny will take him down. That's Immortals finally running around in somewhat of a smooth manner here. Look at the lineup.
Line them up. And Lucas will knock them all down. It's an important round for Immortals because they survived with 3 players, which in their situation is the minimum you want to survive with if you are to spread the wealth amongst the rest of the team. Look at the money in North's column. If Immortals win this round, North are going to be sweating bullets.
Yes, you are absolutely right. It's one of the things that they just don't want to experience. That's an enormous grenade just bombarding North, and a follow-up headshot from Lucas to take down MSL in the corner. Kogu spraying them down. Another great triple lineup, this time with a UMP, and they're all headshots. AZ trying to make his way through, but he's in the corner. He's going to go down, and Immortals picking up a 12th round. My God.
Man, it's like when you've got small infants on a roundabout and Kogu just comes along and swings the roundabout really, really fast and they just fall over the place and they're dizzy and they're dazed and they don't know what's going on. That's the best way to describe what is happening to North at the moment.
Have you seen people on the internet doing that, but they use a scooter to make it roll around and people fly off?
Russia, of course.
Yeah, but there are videos like that. And yeah, it's a good mental picture. I like it. 27th round here, and we've got, you said it, the money. We've got C-SEDs, P250s, bit of armor, a bit of grenades here, but right now North are struggling. We could be seeing a full comeback for Immortals.
This is sweaty work that North have to do now. Subjected to more grenades once again. Maybe in this late game, Immortals can get their CT side going. Finally, those grenades we spoke about, they're flying in to the plateau area. And oh, that's a great shot from Henny. The T's are streaming in, but how much damage can they do? They've got the wall of smokes. Will Bolts allow them to plant the bomb? He hears the plant. He's gambling. He's trying to push on his own. He doesn't need to take these risks. Just let the bomb go down. You don't need to do that at this point.
Oh, no. Don't let that be the moment that it unravels. Cajun has stolen the AWP, but he gets shot in the face by Kogu. That's an important kill, and now they seem to have slowed down. Valde will get 1 kill, steal out in the open, but he does survive. Now it's all on Config with the AWP on the stairwell. He's down to 2 health, and they're going to try and hunt him down. He gets the headshot on 1, but it's not enough. Lucas will get the kill. He's got time for the defuse as well. Immortals win a 13th round. Why are they doing this to us, James? Why the tension? That's
I don't know what that is.
That's JDM on steroids, isn't it? He's gone full JDM.
Oh boy, that was, yeah, you see the hand on the shoulder there. He knows that what he did was a completely unnecessary risk. They have advantages. They can wait for the smokes. They can move together. That was a close one, but they survive. Now both teams back on the buy. The bomb plant helps North have this kind of buy, which is what Bolts was trying to stop. But here we are, both teams on the buy, both teams with a sniper rifle, but Immortals with 2.
And Kogu being a bit more bold here, trying to go for the fights in the middle. You like to see that. Don't want to see him be too defensive. A little bit of courage on his part would be great right now. 14-13, nearing the end of this game, and it's very hard to predict how this is going to turn out. Immortals took 7 rounds in a row in the second half with no answer from Immortals, but now that they're back, the Brazilians, they're really back, and they could maybe get to 16 rounds. It's the magic number that we're looking for a win here. A bit of a great flashbang to set up the peak for Cajun, but he doesn't actually get the kill. Yes,
and that's a lot of information for Immortals, and it makes things awkward for North. They've got 2 players in, so they can get 1 player back out of here, but it seems that Valde, he will be stuck in this position. Immortals not trying to retake this area. They will just position themselves accordingly. Steel will be stuck in the connector area between A and the B bomb site, so trying to stop any flanks that may come later. Valde will be looking for a very late flank as the remainder of his team are all focused on 1 bomb site. But first, they have to breach.
Look at the clock. We said 40 seconds wasn't a lot. Now we're under 30. The bomb is in middle. If anything goes wrong here, there are no more grenades though on the Immortal side. Kogu with a great shot, and Lucas doing wonders in the middle. Picking up a double kill, that drops the bomb with 18 seconds. And Cajun trying to fight it out over at long, and he's definitely gone. 10 seconds here and trying to make it back. Steel won't allow it. That's tying up the scoreline, 14-14. We've got a real game on our hands here, James. This is amazing. Yes,
this would be a very unlikely victory. Lucas, perfect positioning. You saw the flashbang from North. They played the right game, but Lucas's positioning was just far superior. Delivers the kills as well. Steel been doing great work all day. 14 rounds apiece. Tactical timeout from North, of which 10 seconds are remaining to try and figure out what to do. They have a decision to make. Their money kind of sucks, to be quite honest. They could force it up now, or they could try and save and play for overtime, which is the less likely of the 2, and indeed they are going for the buy.
Yeah, there's something discouraging about playing for overtime, isn't there? I mean, could become an option towards the end, and they might have a bit of money. They have lost, 5 in a row, which means their loss bonus is capped out. If they just get a bomb plan this round, they can buy the next anyway. So I think there's some sense to why North would buy in this one, but this is down to the wire, isn't it? 14-14. Near the end. Double EWP on Immortals is one. It looks like North are going to try and be very aggressive. Rushing through the smoke. Config getting stuck in it, and a bullet to the face as Bolts takes him down. That's not a good start.
AZ though will trade a kill. Numbers here for the T side, the CTs. Will they push through the smoke once again? We see Henny playing around the corner. The flashbang. AZ's going to go for the gamble. There he is. Flashing everybody in the B bomb site. Only 1 kill though. North, 2 players remaining versus 2 snipers. These smokes will soon go. What is that from Valde? The man knows his angles, getting tagged through the wall, still alive, and now he's baiting. There's a flank coming in from Cajun B. This is massive. Down goes Henny. It's down to Bolts. 1-on-1. The bomb is down. There's a minute on the clock.
It doesn't get more tense than this. Out in the open, and Valde will pick up the double kill. It happens just like that. So much of that fight was happening through the smoke on every single side, and that incredible flashbang. I think it was AZ running through the smoke, just trying to put the pressure on them. A huge risk by North buying in this round, and it works out. 15-14.
That was bananas. AZ moving through the smoke like Chuck Norris, Delta Force, motorbike, firing them missiles, man. Immortals now trying to take it to overtime. They've got some money. They've got a reasonable buy so far, but it's not a situation they want to be in. This loss will be brutal for one of these teams. At this point, it doesn't matter. This is an endurance fight.
Yes, it is. And once you get into overtime, the game changes a lot. There's so much pressure on you when that happens. Bolts on top of the average round damage there with 101 and 30 kills. That is just incredible.
But will it be enough? Will it be enough? At least for overtime. Immortals able to afford 2 snipers. North with some early grenades, which may suggest another fast play. Will they commit behind it, though? Or are they trying to draw out some grenades from the CTs? The counter grenades are there. Bolts will wait for no man. Jumping straight onto the plateau. Flashbangs are there, but they've got the man advantage. Kogu getting a pick as well. This is a massive start for Immortals.
Oh, that's about as good as it gets. 5 versus 3. and the game is up. They know that this is actually a push towards the A bomb side, because you're absolutely right, James. It was just all a distraction over at the B side. Config trying to fight it back and moving closer, but they've already spotted him out, and he's in some trouble now. Have to fall back. They've lost another player in the meantime. Config goes down, a ridiculous shot, and Henny to close out. Now we're in overtime. 15-15. Well, you're getting your money's worth tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a great game.
Grab the beef jerky. We may be here for a while. 15 apiece. Now we move to 3 rounds per half in overtime. And the teams should be starting with $10,000 each. So we're going to have action straight off the bat.
Look at how fired up they are. This is one of the things I just love about this Brazilian team, is they get so emotionally invested in the game. They get so fired up when they're winning. You love to see it. And you do get that sort of economic reset in the overtime. You're right, that's worth pointing out. They're not going to be struggling on the economy. There are the rules. We've got it all sorted out.
Indeed, we're looking for the first team to get 4 rounds of the 6. If that doesn't happen, it means more overtime, more carnage, and maybe ultimately more tears for one of these 2 teams. Somebody wants to make it to the playoffs, but only one of them can today. North versus Immortals, 15 rounds. I didn't see this coming.
No, I wasn't expecting it, especially because North looked like they'd been playing just a terrific game, but they couldn't close it out. They opened the window for the Immortals team, and they came peering in. It's definitely a bit of an issue here. And now almost live again, as we do have the reset. And they're going to stay on the same side. Those side switching yet, so
exactly.
Still North on the T side.
You have to wonder if that favors anybody in terms of momentum. Immortals have won most of the rounds, but North did make it scary towards the end. Now, when you're on the defensive side in overtime and you buy 2 sniper rifles in the first round, it is a big investment, and I think this round will be restarted, but it's a massive investment. If you fail, it can be costly. It can compound problems later on.
Now, there is also an issue, I think, when it comes to being the in-game leader. We don't always get to talk about this, but MSL right now, he's just played 15 T rounds, and he has to try and somehow sort of draw out all the information from all those 15 rounds, say, where's the weakness in the Immortals defense? Where can they strike to make it vulnerable? He's going to have just a bit of time to sort that out. As we do have a quick technical break here, and we'll be right back with the game.
into more overtimes. And indeed, it is... The names at the top are the wrong way around, but it's Immortals on the CT side with 2 sniper rifles. They've gone for an all-in buy, essentially, in the first round. If this does not prove successful, they will be in a lot of trouble.
Yes, that heavy investment of the double AWP setup, absolutely critical here for Immortals. MSL trying to guess through the smoke. We've seen that working out in the B-bomb side a couple of times, so why not try it? But it looks like Immortals have not left themselves very vulnerable on the CT side here. They're really far back. They're not giving any chance for any kind of an early fight. Maybe Steel is the most advanced over at that plateau. So, yeah, I like this from Immortals.
Lucas and Kogu smoked out towards long A, as we call it, which means they're forced back, which means the CTs don't have much information as to what is going on, which also means they don't know where to put their players, so they're going to have to guess. AZ and Valde harassing the drop area, but they're not. But the CTs are non-believers. Bolts wanting to go towards the A sites where the Ts may be headed. Indeed, the whole team rotating there now.
Oh, I'm not loving this from Immortals. The fact that Lucas and Koku are both so far back in the bomb site, that makes me very nervous. It's one of the... Because the problem is you're going to have almost no time to react. You want to call into the rest of the team and say, start rotating this way. They're going to have almost no warning about this happening. 30 seconds now. Bolts and Steel are starting to rotate in, but the smoke's already up. You see it up on the balcony there. That's a great kill from Lucas, but the return is there. AC with 1. Bolts with a great headshot, taking down Valde, and Koku missing a big chance. Luckily, Steel is there for a double kill, shutting down AC and MSL. And now Cajun B. I don't think he could find his way out. There's only 11 seconds here. He's definitely done for. Great flick onto Steel, but that's still not enough. He can't find the kills in time. This is definitely Immortals' round.
Takes his knife out at just the wrong time. If he got that kill, that would have been still a big round for the T side, but it was not to be. So the lead is taken by Immortals.
That's an impressive win for the Brazilian side here in this round because they didn't have a lot of time. By the time they showed up outside of the bomb site, the smokes were already down. And they sort of had to, Steel jumped through one of them just to try and get into his teammates and help them out, and that was well worth it.
Just a reminder, in case you are confused, the names at the top are the wrong way around, so it's actually Immortals in the lead on the defensive side, 16-15 over Team North, who are in yellow at the moment, yellow outline, that is. So Bolt's taking presence on the balcony area. Got to be careful though, there are gaps, and he will fix that with a smoke of his own. That will slow down the early stage for North. It would be madness to try and force their way through this smoke, but there's time on the clock. Minute 20 for the Ts.
Bolt's quite happy to take this fight. Very dangerous, I would say. Probably not worth it. If he's the one to take a bullet from that AK, he's gone immediately. So I would say be careful about that. The B bomb side is hard enough to hold, even if you have 3 men here. 2, and it's almost impossible.
The Ts moving to split the B bomb site, jumping into the drop zone, but the CTs are getting the kills once again. Hen 1 around that statue, keeps getting frags. Bolts and Steel doing work as well. Finally, 2 kills come in for the North side, but they don't have many advantages. And now it's Cajun B alone once again, just like the previous round. Can he do even more damage? 40 seconds. He's got time to do this. He can dance around the smoke, try and use it as a wall. So far, so good, but he's got 2 more to fight. Running out of bullets, running out of time. Running out of health as well. 2 for 2 from the Brazilians.
This is just a great job. Think about how far behind they were in regulation. They looked like they were about to get stomped on, but they've brought it back this far, and you're right. They're halfway there. They just need 2 more rounds in overtime, and suddenly they will have made it out of the group first, which I think is quite something.
Indeed, and there we go. The names have been corrected now. So indeed, it is Immortals 17-15. If they make it to 19, then that is going to be the good game for them. And the end of the line today for North. North now struggling on the buy. The submachine guns come out instead of the rifles because they just can't afford better in the last round of the first half. Focusing on close quarters because of that, perhaps. They all focus on B.
I think they wanted to rush it, but the counter grenades coming out were just too good for Immortals. Now there's a whole setup. You see all the lines, all the grenades running into that bomb site. Bolts is waiting at the edge, but he's going to go down to Config. That's a massive opening. Down on the bomb site, Steel and Henny are in a lot of trouble. Steel going to get caught, and Henny by the chicken coop. He's got no cover at all, and he drops to Config. So it can't get better than this. That's the perfect round.
And it's the last round of this half, which means even though the advantages are terrible for Immortals, they have to go for this and essentially probably run to their doom. But they will fight tooth and nail for this round, deploying what grenades they can. But ultimately, they need to win a lot of duels here. The double pick's looking likely. Not necessary, though. There, Config will do the job on his own, leaving Kogu in a 1 versus 4. Config taken down. There's AZ up close, and that will be enough for 1 of 3 rounds in the first half for North. Immortals with a slim lead.
So, a bit of a silver lining at least for the Danish side. It was getting a bit too close for comfort. Now they've still got a decent chance. Remember, we could also end up in double overtime. That happens before. I can't remember what the record is, but it's quite far up there. We'd have to go for a long time before we hit that, James.
Indeed, we would. So we'll see what the players from North on the counter-terror side once it begins, which should be soon. Again, we're looking for one team to make it to 19. So Immortals would need 2 of these 3 rounds. North would need all 3. If one of those scenarios doesn't play out, then indeed it will be a second overtime. So here we are. The teams finally swap sides, and it's time for Immortals to be the aggressors. Again, they've got the money. Do they go for 2 snipers on the T side? I don't think they should. And on this case, they don't. Didn't work out for them very well in normal time. It will be the 1 sniper rifle onto Hen 1.
I think this is the sensible choice. We certainly saw a couple of rounds in regulation where that was just a bit too much running onto the bomb site with sniper rifles. It's fine to have 1 of them, especially if it's on Henny, I say.
2 snipers for North. They're up against it being a round down, and they will go for the all-in play with that as well. KB and Config. Config over towards the A site with AZ in for support, and Immortals take their initial map control. Initial smokes are down, and they'll try to wait it out. They'll be far back. Don't want to be exposed to grenades from North. And North have used a lot of utility to take their positioning at the beginning of this round.
I'm not loving the setup in the B bomb side this time for North, though. MSL and Valder are holding drop. That's important. My problem is Cajun is so isolated. If there's even 1 or 2 good smoke grenades here from Immortals, he's going to find himself alone, and it's such a common position to Molotov. In fact, North did it themselves a number of times against Henny, so I'm worried for Cajun B round. He's a very good sniper, but I still think this is a bit of a risk. We'll see.
Expectation of a play into the drop zone from North, and it pays off. And guess who? It's MSL, in-game leader, once again with a double kill. Great start from North, but can they have a good finish in this round? The snipers are still in position. There's Cajun B picking Kogu off. Not working out so well for Immortals.
Now they just need to hold on. North don't have to fight this. 2 versus 4. And there's Config with a great pick off that diagonal line, taking down bolts across the bomb site. And he snuck in, and he's going to try and get a double, but it's a leg shot. 19 seconds, and he goes down to Valder. And it ties up the scoreline, 17-17. So this is great. Obviously, Immortals trying for a 2-pronged attack on the B bomb site. And the main force was in the drop where North had 2 players. So not at all, it was a good guess for North this time. Leaves Cajun less exposed than he otherwise would have been.
Yeah, that's a great... I mean, you mentioned after all these rounds how the in-game leaders keep changing things up and staying ahead of their opponents. It seems MSL was ahead of his opponent in that situation, putting 2 people in the drop, which is often occupied by 1. Expectant of the play from Immortals, and it pays off. 17 apiece. Who's going to make it to match point first? Double snipers continue for North. Single sniper continues for Immortals. This time, though, it'll be on Kogu.
And that in itself is a bit of an interesting switch up. He's not even got the closest spawn to middle, so it's not even because he wants to run there for a fight. Immortals, they've fought so hard to get into this position. You don't want to run out of energy now. Valder quick with the counter grenade coming out, trying to stop any kind of ridiculous push from Immortals. And they do have a group of 4, with Steel being on the other side of the map. And And it looks like it's Cajun and Valda right now who are, in fact, double stacked on that plateau looking for a fight. And they're going to catch Cajun. Are they realizing there's a second player there? Valda, he only gets the one, and that's not quite enough. Good shot from MSL. Needs to hold on right now. This is a good entry for Immortals.
Bolts and Kogu around the B plateau, waiting for Steel to come in for the rotation. Opting not to go for the drop. In the meantime, North are boosting MSL around the tree position. Great shot onto Bolts, and he'll get down. They can take that advantage and reposition. 1 minute on the clock as Kogu ties it up once again. 2 on 2, everybody on the B bomb site, but North don't seem to know where Steel is just yet. Looking behind them, haven't identified that they are both on the site.
There's plenty of time. Steel is close, and he's going to catch maybe the first player here. AC's around the corner, but it's AC to come out big, and Kogu mid-air shot, shutting down Config, and now the pistol's out instead. It is just a Glock, so not the best, but the headshot will do it. Oh my god, there's the legend himself, Kogu with the triple. And the crowd chants Kogu.
What a display of skill from someone who's been in the game for so long as well. What if that is the play that helps them take the match? Outstanding stuff from Kogu, but the match is not over yet. There's one more round to play for at the very least, and North have a buy, they have a sniper. They are coming in hot, they are coming in strong. They've got utility as well.
There is just a bit of that shine. Remember, Kogu's era was a decade ago. It's just been a very, very long time, but there's a glimmer of just a bit of the magic that he can do. And I mean, I am a bit of a romantic when it comes to stuff like this, James, but I can't help but feel maybe there could be something here. 18 to 17, one more round for Immortals, and they will have done it.
This will feel like death by paper cuts if North are to lose this after having a lead that they had in normal time, but enough about that. We've got the Brazilians focusing on the B bomb site. 3 players are here for the CT side. No one down just yet. And there it is. Kogu taken down, of course, by MSL. The frags flying in. Will it be overtime 2? It might just be 2 Ts remaining. Make it 1. The grenade sailing in, still doing the best he can. He's got 1 HP. It won't be enough. Overtime 2. We are going to be here for a while.
Wow, that was such a great defense of the plateau. Not only did Immortals not manage to get the early kill, but they had to stand in that Molotov, and you see it here. They just can't push anywhere. Valda comes in with a fantastic double kill. And that follow-up grenade, Cajun just doing a good job. So 18-18, and we are in double overtime. And as this goes on, you know, the players are going to start to get fatigued as well. Definitely something that weighs on your mind when you've been playing for a while.
Yeah, this is quite the slog for both sides. Not much in it between these 2 teams, and it will be North continuing on the defensive side. People starting to catch up with the 30 kills of Bolts, but not quite yet. We're going to have a short break. When we're back, maybe the conclusion of this match.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are ready with the second overtime here between North and Immortals. This has turned into a marathon game, James. We thought it was going to be a quick night. It looked like North were about to make it a quick night, but they couldn't close out the games, and now Immortals are hungry for more.
Yeah, and Bolts is one of their biggest problems, leading his team on every statistic, leading the server in terms of frags. But everyone's turning up now. Everyone's delivering the frags for their side, but no one is delivering the W just yet. Now we continue with North with 2 sniper rifles on the defensive side, and Immortals on the T side will have the 1 sniper on Henny, which goes back and forth between Henny and Kogu. Both players having some highlights, but again, none being enough just yet for the win.
This has truly turned into a crazy game. It's hard to predict at this point because there's been so many rounds. Exactly what the winning formula is, I'm not sure if the players know either at this point. It's very hard to keep track of so many rounds in your head. They do have coaches that can maybe be a bit more objective, and maybe that's going to make the difference. Sack and Rugger on both sides there. It looks like a bit of an aggressive push, and this is something that we haven't really seen before, and we almost never see on a map like Cobblestone. Aggressive CT side pushing. Valda will give up the game and fall back, but...
Technical timeout, looks like.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, no players being fragged. Looks like Immortals are having some more problems with Kogu's setup over there.
That's going to be quite frustrating for North, because that kind of play, Immortals heard that on the other side. It's hard to repeat that. It's a huge risk to do it.
Yeah, you pretty much have to come with something else now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of frustrating for them, but that is the nature of the beast sometimes, unfortunately. So the score is 18-18. We're looking for the first team to 22 rounds. It is 3 rounds per half, so we are looking for 4 from 6 in overtime number 2 here in Atlanta.
Yes, indeed. A big shout out to everyone who's watching, not just locally, but obviously across the world as well, different time zones. It's getting a bit stretched. We are going to go to a quick break, and we'll be right back with the double overtime. Stay with us.
Every day when I wake, I'm trying to get up, they're knocking me down. Hey, 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 when I...
We are back. The energy is still here at the studio in Atlanta, and we have about a minute, so we've got time to get technical, James. It's powered by Alienware, and we've got eye tracking, which is such an amazing technology. We've got AZ that we're watching here. It's so cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so we can see what he's prioritizing during the round, and you can see he has a look at the minimap, see what's going on, see what his teammates are doing, but at the same time, you can only glance. He's got to focus on what's ahead of him as well. Sees Kogu popping out there, and then he's going to keep an eye and see what else is going on. So lots to do when you're AZ, and he's not even the in-game leader, so someone like MSL is going to be looking at that minimap a whole lot more as well.
Yes, you see that constant dart up to the left-hand corner to spot the minimap. He needs to know not just where the opponents are if they pop up on red there, but it's very important to know where your own teammates are, because you have to know that your back is covered, and communicating takes a lot longer than it seems. To have to sort of hold down the button and ask your teammates, where are you holding? Then they have to, you know, sort of put a long sentence to explain what they're seeing. It's much easier if you can just see it there. So that's all instinctual, happens very quick, but it shows you that the skill level in this game is actually a lot deeper than it might seem. There's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Here it is double overtime between North and Immortals to decide who goes out of the group first here at Group B.
First team to 22 rounds. That's what we're looking for in the second bout of overtime. 3 rounds and a half. North starting on the defensive side where they finished in the previous overtime. Before this technical pause, we had that exact aggressive smoke grenade. And they do go for the same approach, which I like. Some people would be put off by the restart, but no, they will do the same thing pretty much. That will slow Immortals down if they want to head over there. I mean, they may want to show some presence there regardless, so it doesn't make it too obvious where they're going later on, but that does have its own risk. They can throw some flashbangs to help them, and that's a bad miss.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything to Cajun, who is on the other side with an AWP. You've got to be very careful about making that kind of a jump. He's fallen back in the meantime. He knows he's lost a bit of control here. There is a pretty big rotation coming back towards the B-bomb side, though. Valder and MSL were actually completely out of it for a moment, but at 40 seconds, it looks like Immortals are going to go for an A crunch here. Through drop, that's dangerous, but Bolts has already picked up MSL. And look at this, we haven't really seen this yet out of Immortals. It could be big. Convict turning around and getting the kill on Lucas. That drops the bomb, and it all crumbles here for Immortals. I'm so sad because that would have been a great strategy, something that we rarely get to see. But they just get shut down.
20 seconds, and only Config is on the A site at the moment. So Bolts has an opportunity, swiftly taken away. Config looking in the right place at the right time. If he got that pick, that's a bomb plant for him. But it wasn't to be. Great defense by North on this occasion, and that puts them in the lead early on in this overtime.
You see AZ cutting off an entire arm of that attack, so whatever the people in drop were going to do, they were always going to be in a very bad position. 19-18 and one step closer for North here. Immortals not, I think, too disheartened. They still have the money to buy, and it's all AKs.
That is very interesting. A different approach from Immortals. Maybe choice was taken away. Config backing up. Just in case there's a fast play, helps him avoid the flashbangs as well. And AZ will be on the high ground. 4 of the 5 Immortals players focused on the A site. Quite rarely there's 3 smoke grenades down at the same time. So again, that's going to deny them information, deny them progress, and waste the time, which is theirs to use. AZ trying more delay tactics. Config repositioning, getting absolutely torn apart by Steel. And Immortals will move in.
And look at this, they're not even going to slow down. They just want to push and overwhelm this bomb side, although Cajun did get a shot. MSL right at the edge, going for a second, and he almost gets Kogu, but now it's still a 2-on-3. Bolts is quite far away. They've got to be careful here, Immortals. They've got the time to wait. MSL out in the open. He's going to get dropped by Henny, and it's all on Cajun B. It shouldn't be possible here. They've got the time to wait. Just make sure you know where Cajun is, and there's Bolts picking it up. Great round for Immortals.
Steel, so many double kills for him in this match so far. He's not the only one either, but he's had an outstanding performance so far. An ace earlier on as well, wiping out the entire opposition on his own in a particular round. 19 apiece. That's a huge round from him. When they didn't have the things they like to have, namely sniper rifles, they've gone for 2 of them in this round. This has not worked for them before. And when you're the aggressors, having 2 snipers is not really common. It's not necessarily ideal, but it is a comfort play for this team. You have a stand-in in Kogu, the second from the right, and Immortals, they're not shy to go for these comfort plays, but they don't have the rounds to lose this. 4 snipers on the map. This is going to be interesting.
It's a lot of firepower, a lot of investment here in the final round of the first half of the second overtime. That's a bit complicated, but it's how it works out. 19-19. Got a pretty common stack across, or sort of spread across the map here for North. Nothing out of the ordinary. Maybe a bit aggressive for Config. Still waiting around in middle. Henny is up there somewhere, so got to be a bit careful about that battle, but looks like it's going to get cancelled, and Immortals are setting up for what looks like another B execute.
A B execute with 2 sniper rifles. That will be very interesting to see. Valde and Cajun B in more aggressive positions towards the B bomb sites. And they've got that smoke down again. That's going to buy some time. This time Valde's going to move forward. Cajun B picking off. Valde with a perfect shot through the smoke again. That is massively disabling for Immortals. 1 minute on the clock. All of North alive. And they have monstrous map control.
There's Config winning the fight. I think he got the leg shot on Henny from earlier in the round, so trying to get back. Steel wants to run him down, and Config wanted to take the fight. That's bold. He does go down, and a headshot from Lucas down in the middle. So suddenly, 2 versus 3 North. You cannot afford to give up this round. It's almost a sure win. You just had the 2 versus 5, but now it's a 2-1-2. It's turned around. Steel and Lucas bringing it back for Immortals. This is very unreasonable for North. Cajun trying to see if he can walk into the middle. He's going to go down to Lucas. I can't believe it's happening. And MSL gets dropped, and Immortals turning it around. Lucas with a quad kill. James, how can that be ever forgiven?
I cannot compute what just happened. That was absolutely insane. The initial frags towards the A site from Immortals cleared the site for them, allowed him to get into better positions, and Lucas just positioned himself so well, moved away from where MSL could see him, looked for a flank. He was right. He perfectly positioned himself. Really, in this late game as well, that's got to be taxing for the North player. It's got to be hard to deal with. I mean, this is also a psychological battle, and that's not how you want to go into the second half. A round down when you are 5 versus 2.
It's really incredible because they're normally not that much of a patient team, Immortals, but when they get into those 2v2s, they really do slow it down a lot, and they actually play really great Counter-Strike. So that's just very impressive. You see what happened as well. As soon as Config turned around for the fight on Steel, the next player in the bomb side, which is AC, he's just stuck in no man's land. He's got no chance at all, so it just unravels incredibly quickly. What a mistake from North. That could cost them the game here.
Yeah, that's not one you see every day. Immortals in the lead, moving into their defensive side. So North, maybe they can set the pace here. 3 players towards A to start off with for the Danes. Bolt's positioned behind the tree will help him avoid flashbangs, and he'll have better eyes on that plateau position.
Some smokes raining in, trying to block out anyone who might have been there. But this is all for nothing. These grenades don't really do anything, as Immortals don't have anyone nearby. Lucas is down at the end of the ramp in middle, but he's on the other side of the wall, so they're not going to find anyone here. They've cleared it out, making some noise, but you can tell on the mini-map, Immortals haven't rotated anyone outside of B. They don't know enough to start making a call. And as North have cleared all of this out, it looks like they're the ones to make the rotation instead.
Yeah, so North will quietly walk away after showing presence and then start to run where they know they cannot be heard. So for all Immortals know they could still be over there.
It looked like Lucas wanted to rotate back to help out his teammates. It looked like he was about to make a really good call, but now they're actually really far away. So it will be down to Steel, Henny, and Bolts to hold this B bomb site. And they have to put up one hell of a fight. There's MSL already picking off Henny. That's in drop, taking him down for the edge of the wall as well. And Bolts now on the plateau looking for the kill. He's going to get one. He needs a lot more than that. And he gets taken down by Cajun. So, I mean, a bit of an odd start to this round, but it works out great for North.
Yeah, and Immortals have to turn tail and run. They are so out of position. They were so far away, deep into the A bomb site, that they will just try to hold on to what they have for the next round. The score about to be tied again. So we asked the same question as before. Which team will be the first to hit 21 and make it to match point? We look to one of these teams to hit 22 to win. If it's 21-21, then that means more overtime, more beef jerky.
Yes, gotta keep the energy up, isn't that true? See what happens here. Saving the rifle's always a good thing, and you're on the CT side. Kogu, especially with that AWP, didn't really get a chance to put it into play in this round, but it'll bring us a bit closer. 20-20 as the score is tied up once again. A very tough game of Counter-Strike here between these two teams. All right. But the energy here, the local audience, they're loving it.
They are indeed, and they definitely got their money's worth. 20 rounds apiece. Immortals, 2 snipers on the defensive side. This is an all-in play. If Immortals lose this round, it's going to be very hard to take this to another overtime. This is a key round for them to win. Lucas and Kogu over towards A. There are 3 North players, but they'll take a slow approach. Feels like a while since we saw a fast charge in one of these rounds.
Yeah, we've seen them work at least a couple of times, but obviously when you're this close to the edge, it does probably feel bad if you're the captain of the team and you call for a fast, push, and it just gets, dissolved in HE grenades and Molotovs. So right now, no one really willing to do that. Lucas is boosted up, which is another creative play coming out of Immortals. They seem to be, I think, making most of the innovative plays right now in the late stages here.
1 minute on the clock. What do North have in mind for their opponent? Again, they show presence towards A, then they walk away until they're confident they can't be heard, and then they'll start to run to have as much time as possible to execute whatever they ultimately have in plan.
Oh no, it's even worse than last time. There's only really Henny on the plateau. Now he is a world-class AWPer, but this is gonna have to be something else here. Henny has to come up with a miracle. Bolts is there to help him out, so they've got a bit of a duo going on, but this just won't be easy. 27 seconds, and now Immortals are gonna realize they've made a huge tactical error. Henny gets flashed, and he knows he's gonna get a bit of damage in, tries again. He gets overrun, and Bolts has to just try and fall back from this position. How do they retake this bomb site? North have just played this round absolutely perfectly.
And they still have 2 smoke grenades in the post-plant situation, which is going to buy them a lot of time. And Immortals, do they even save at this point? 5 versus 3, I think they have to now. There's no way into this round for them, and they cannot afford to lose what they are holding. North might know that. They might go for the hunt. They've got loads of money. Doesn't really matter if they lose a few players here, so they should try to take as much away from Immortals as possible as they move to match points.
Beaten by the same strategy twice in a row. That's very, obviously very unnerving if you're on the Immortals side. The rest trying to save as best as they can, but that will be 21 rounds from North, as you said, James. It's match point for them.
Let's see what the Immortals can muster. 1 player on 5200, that's Kogu, so he could drop a rifle for his teammate. He's going to throw the AWP over towards Henny. Now, I mean, there's a world where North set up the same strategy and then go towards A. Or just set up the whole thing again and do the same as they did last time. And indeed, they're putting 3 people towards the A site, but this time they've got the bomb in tow. So let's see, it may be a repeat to start off with. Kogu, though, getting more aggressive this time.
Oh, such a big risk. Will it pay off? The flick not quite connecting. He will make it back alive, though. So at least there was that. Cajun was actually waiting on the other side with a sniper of his own. Looks like Kogu's going to walk into the flashbang here. Does he want to challenge this? This is very dangerous. It's a one and done, and Cajun will win it against Kogu. So maybe a bit too much of a risk there. 4 more kills, James, is all they need on the north side.
There's nobody in the A bomb site for the CTs. Lucas just making his way in now, and I think he might be throwing a smoke towards A long. Indeed he is, but he doesn't really know what's going on, and that's going to split the Immortals. This is really nasty for them. 2 CTs per site. They could end up facing 5 players for all they know in one of these 2 sites. So they are spread pretty damn thin at the moment. Nobody around the drop zone towards B, which means that site can be split. And it seems that MSL will decide to do something in that nature as Config and Cajun B rotate the bomb towards B.
Now, when MSL makes noise over at long, the question is, will any of the Immortals B players rotate out of position? If they do, that's probably game over. If they stick, maybe there's a chance, but again, it just won't be easy. 25 seconds, and MSL is making noise on the other side. Bolts and Henny, who are at the B-bomb side, they're staying cool, and MSL is making a lot of noise, but this is the real push. 18 seconds, a lot of Molotovs, and a huge failed one coming in. Steel and Bolts, well, Bolts and Henny, sorry, they both go down. Steel got the kill on MSL, but that just might be game, James. 2 versus 4 here, and Immortals fighting to extend the overtime into triple overtime. I don't see it happening.
They are on the wrong side of these choke points, and there are far too many North players. Valde looking for the final kill, and there it is. A long slog for North, but they finally take this match over the line. North will be victorious over Immortals, double overtimes, but they prevailed. That was a tough test for them, but they managed to make it through.
Not really being able to